My name's Matt McCullum. I'm the current chair of Upper North Farming Systems. I'm here today to talk about a 3-year SAGIT project, a project that went from 2016 to 2018. It was a wheat variety by time of sowing trial here in the Upper North. The Upper North is a region that stretches from, I guess, Wandera up to Manbrae Creek on the western side of the ranges, and stretches from Jamestown through to Black Rock up to Quorn on the eastern side of the ranges. So a fairly large geographical area with quite different climates on the west compared to the east. I guess this project was sparked by quite a large frost event that we had in 2014. Actually caused a lot of stem frost in the region. I guess it was a season where we had a very early, or quite an early sowing opportunity in mid-April. So, some varieties that were sown that were probably, looking back, unsuitable at the time, sowing that early, really copped up to 100% crop damage in that particular year. So, we're a fairly low rainfall area as well. So not only, I guess, we do sort of cop frost events, we also do cop dry springs. So often our crops will enter spring and under a reasonable amount of moisture stress. So I guess with time of sowing with current wheat varieties, it's all about trying to get the balance right between the variety and when you sow it, so you're sort of avoiding frost but also having it flowering in an optimum time to make use of the available moisture that's there in the profile. We had 3 times of sowing. Time of sowing 1 in all 3 years was around mid-April. One of those years, 2017, we actually had a break in mid-April, so we were able to sow on the break. But in 16 and 2018, we actually had to water the plots, give them about sort of 14-15 millimetres to get those get that first time of sowing up and going. Time of sowing 2 was generally around the first week of May leading into the second week of May, which is probably what you call district practice now in this region for time of sowing of wheat. And our third time of sowing, that was generally late May, and then also leading into June in 2018. Again, we try to follow what the district was doing with our third time of sowing. So in 2 of those years there was still farmers sowing into late May in 16 and 17, and then 2018 was a very poor start. There was only minimal rainfall events, so yeah, there were still farmers in the region sowing by mid-June when we actually had a decent 20 mil event. In terms of the varieties that we chose, we tried to choose a big range of varieties to grow in this trial. One particular variety that has been adopted a bit in this region is called Trojan. So that was a sort of a mid to fast maturing sort of spring wheat. It's sort of got a fairly unique photoperiod gene which allows for earlier sowing while still flowering under optimal conditions. I guess Mason Scepter in the trial, they're just the benchmark sort of a fast maturing spring wheat, moderate sort of vernalisation requirement and sort of weak photoperiod sort of controls. Cutlass, which is based a similar maturity to Yitpi. Yitpi was quite a popular variety through this area back in its day. So Cutlass, I guess a mid to late maturing variety, was in the trial. Hatchet, which is based on Axe, a very fast maturing variety, even faster than Axe. And Axe had been quite a popular variety in this area over a period of time. In seasons with dry springs in particular, it performed quite well. And the other one was we had a winter wheat called Longsword, which was a fast maturing winter wheat, which was a true winter wheat in terms of having that vernalisation requirement. So I guess with the 3 different seasons, we got 3 reasonably different results. In 2016 was such a fantastic spring. Varieties like Cutlass and Trojan really yielded, with the most yield potential, yielded the best. And time of sowing didn't have a big influence on yield. That particular year was such a fantastic spring. 2017 and 18 really highlight the fact that you can get a really poor result if you sow a fast-growing, fast-maturing variety like Hatchet too early. That really got hit by frost in those particular years. So any growers in the region that are looking at a variety like that, it must be pretty disciplined not to sow that too early and hang off and sow it late, even if you do get an early sowing opportunity.
Joe Koth, UNFS committee member, and helped play quite a part of role helping Todd sow the trial over the last 3 years.
I'm Todd Orick from Murraytown, and I'm involved in operations at the Upper North Farming Systems. We're heavily involved with the sowing of the Thomas seedings.
So some of the outcomes from the trial, probably a couple of points I've taken from it. There's a lot of hype around the longsword, which is the winter wheat. I guess probably the downside is it didn't play up with its quality. So probably it's saved jumping into that one too early by some of the trial results we've got. So
it was a really good opportunity for ourselves. We've sown to a date now for 6 years to check Mace, Scepter, Trojan against itself with the 3 times of seeding, and we learnt quite a bit from that. We're no longer afraid of sowing reasonably early. We've got no control over the frosts at the other end of a season, but we can get them big and bulky and they'll be ready for hay if we need to be. But we definitely learnt some varieties have some massive growing traits earlier on in the season for handling the frost.
So I guess the highlights for me with the trial over the years was that if you are sowing something like Hatchet, be disciplined to sow that later. Don't sow it even if you do get an early sowing opportunity. So that's sort of later in May. Varieties like Scepter and Mace are good all-rounders for sort of early and through to sort of the later sowings as well. But I guess there are opportunities when we do get really good early breaks. We should be looking at other more longer season varieties to really capitalise on yield potential in those particular years.